Haha, we're back. I think. I think we're back. It sounds like we're back. Great. I was just I'm trying to mess around with the because I've got the chat renderer up above my head like I used to. But okay, hold on, start again. First thing, hello everyone. It's nice to be back. It's been just over a year since my last live stream and last video on this channel, which was said live stream. So you know, it's good to be back doing things. I'm looking forward to today. We're going to get into what we're doing today in a moment, but I'm going to do my ramble first. I was messing around because I've had to since last stream. I have a new computer. I no longer have a laptop. I have my trusty little Mac Mini that's sat here atop my desk. And I also then, during the process of setting up the Mac Mini, did some stupid shenanigans with the Apple's iCloud backup system, similar to like the Windows OneDrive shenanigans, where stupidly, if you turn it off when you've got the desktop and document sync enabled, you turn the thing off, it just erases all of your stuff from your desktop and documents. And so I had like a whole bunch of faff trying to resync stuff across, get things in the right place without re-enabling iCloud sync, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, real pain in the backside, but we got there eventually. What that's meant essentially is I've had to rebuild my whole stream setup, which I kind of had to do anyway because we got new branding, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I've been setting everything back up again, which brings me to the chat box that's above my head. Historically, I had it so that messages didn't disappear, and for some reason or somehow in the CSS, I have set it so that the messages disappear, and I was trying to find where I did that and turn it off so that they stay around, but I imagine that's going to be something that I will do in the next one, and we'll be back on track. So actually into the content. I hope everyone is well. Hope you've been on good form. I hope you're ready for some game development on our new game. This game is called MINIM, for anyone who isn't in the Discord server or who hasn't been following like the other socials. Not that I've been particularly active on those either. About a month ago now, I think, we announced this game on Steam. The Steam page went live. It was a project that we were developing for the 2025 GMTK Game Jam. And so, yeah, we decided, because the concept was kind of cool, people seemed to enjoy it, and we liked the vibe of it. We thought it would be a cool idea to build it out into a full project, and so here we are. Steam page is live, but as you could probably see from what the screenshots look like on the Steam page versus what we're looking at over here in Engine, if I just hit play real quick, they don't line up. They don't line up very closely. And that is because we being me, kind of on suggestion by some friends and another one of the developers in the studio was like, what if we did this 3D isometric? And so I was like, okay, say less, because you know that's like my whole vibe. It's like 3D isometric, and so here we are, 3D isometric version. I've managed to port across most of the features that we had in the original. We've got some real nice sleek animations going on, but obviously the Steam page, as here, which there's a link in the description as well if you want to go and wishlist it. If you do, it really helps out, would really appreciate it. But yeah, this is still using the original screenshots from the itch.io version that we built for the GMTK Game Jam in about 72 hours. There is a link to it in the Discord server if you want to go and check out that version of the game. It's more a proof of concept and it's missing a lot of the features that we have in the scope of the game now, but gives you a good idea for kind of what we're shooting for, and everything else. So yeah, like I was saying, got most of the features ported over. I'm going to just kind of speed run through the first four rooms so that I can just showcase the enemies coming back in. Because for anyone watching who's not familiar with the concept, basically the way this game works is that you're moving through a loop, as was the theme of the GMTK Game Jam this year, and in doing so, each time you come back to the start of the loop, like I'm about to do now, the previous versions or the previous moves that you made moving through will come back as enemies and repeat your path in reverse. So you can see now I'll need to dodge this guy and he'll then loop back to the beginning when he's finished his stuff. There is a push mechanic currently in place, but we're removing that because it's way too powerful and turning it into a spell instead, which leads into feature number 2, which is the spell loops. So as you play through a run of the game, you will collect spells that you can use. These will be offensive spells, action type spells, movement spells, all sorts of different abilities that you then queue up into a loop of spells. And when you cast, you can only cast spells in the order that you've got them. So at present, I've implemented a dash spell, which just moves you forward 2 spaces instead of 1, so you get a little bit of extra movement. The interesting thing with these, which I kind of want to demo before we get stuck into any like code or visual design stuff, is that the spells activate exactly the same way that you did them. Movements are played in reverse, in accordance with the actions, because the whole premise is like the enemy is doing what you did in reverse, right, not mirrored. So when you get to a point that an enemy casts a spell, even if it is a movement based spell, that spell will still use the exact same input. So I think it was this level when I just used the first dash spell, wasn't it? If I just kind of take a waltz around the edge of the board, we should see this enemy here step down and then dash backwards. Oh no, wrong room. Next room it'll be. Losing track of what I've done in which rooms. So the point being, while we're getting there, is this opens up a lot of opportunity for like interesting behaviors. Like you can see there, that's you know, very interesting kind of outcomes. So there's the whole, like, there's a premise of being able to pre-plan your moves and figure out you know, what's going to happen, like trying to plan ahead so that you can have enemies destroy themselves, solve puzzles for you, you know, all sorts. There's plenty of room for interesting opportunity, but also obviously opportunity for the player to do themselves very dirty and not be able to do what they need to do or get themselves in trouble, which is a really cool space to be in, because at least from like a design perspective, I've kind of associated it similarly to chess, such that, you know, when you're playing chess, you can play yourself into an unwinnable position, and that's kind of the nature of the game, which is nice for this because it means we can design lots of really interesting levels that at their core will always be solvable, and if the player makes decisions that then make it unsolvable, that's intuitively the player's own doing. So we've got like a quite versatile design space where we can be, you know, creating lots of different varied levels, and as long as at a base level they're completable, then it's yeah, very open. So in terms of the plan for today, I think I wrote it in the description for the video, but like I say, the Steam page that we have doesn't line up at all with what we're looking at in game. So potentially, rather than working on any specific code stuff today, we're going to be kind of mocking up a bunch of UI and level layouts in Engine, getting some screenshots of them so that we can update the Steam page and some of the visual assets to better align, not the mic, better align with what the new aesthetic of the game is in the 3D space. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? I think the way that I want to do this, I may well actually do it via code, because we have a room management system. I think, where's it going to be? It's under room. Yes, I have this we have a class called room, right, which is the this is like the instanced representative of a given room in the level. So the layout that it has, things that are in it. It also handles the oh no, I'm lying, sorry. The controller handles is like the view, the 3D view, and then this room class, let me just zoom this in, make sure the code is big enough on screen. Let me know as well in chat if anything looks too small or if the sound levels are out. Like I say, I've been out of this for a while, so any help I can get is always going to be good. So the room controller class is the renderer. This is responsible for actually like loading in, unloading the rooms, creating the physical tiles that we see in the space. The room class that we have over here is pure data. So this holds the base layout of the room, mapping a position to some grid tile data, where the grid tile data in turn is, you know, position, is it an entrance and exit or no door at all? What tile prefab are we using for this thing, etc, etc. So that's all held in this class here. My thinking for what I can do, because at the moment when we're creating this list of rooms over in the game controller, if I just hop over here real quick, we're just yeah, as you can see, shouldn't call new directly, we want to use a room generator to generate rooms from. So change of plans a little bit, we will go ahead and create a room generator class that can just spit us back a random layout, and we can use effectively this same dictionary approach where I've got a default layout dictionary that just creates a 5x5 square and maps everything out as expected. We can create some bespoke layouts to kind of mess around with, and then use those to build some screenshots. I think that should be a good way to go. So let's get stuck in. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? I'm going to go ahead and create a room generator script. Pop this open. So I don't want this to be a mono behavior. I'm debating whether or not I want this to be static potentially. So that we don't even need to instance it. We can just kind of generate a room from some layouts. But I know in the future there's going to be some changes needing made, because basically the structure of how rooms work, there's three concepts in the game. You have the base, which is the layout. That is, like I say, the kind of standard array of positions. Is there a tile here or not? Is there a hazard on said tile? Is it an exit? Is it an entrance? Those things. We then have room types, which are layered on top of layouts. So this will control things like what hazards will appear in the hazard tiles. Things like that. Whether it's a puzzle room, if we try and generate some kind of puzzle within the layout that we've got. And then there's the biomes on top of that, which in turn changes the kind of aesthetics and overarching rules for the given loop. So in the generator, we kind of need to build out those layers. And I'm just thinking to myself, because I have a feeling the room tracks its iterations. So we basically need a separate set of layers for having the layout and everything stored within here. Which it looks like I've already done. Sick. So we've got this layout dictionary that's going to hold up layouts. So I figure for the time being, let's just have like a public dictionary, which is going to be of vector to int to a grid tile data, generate room layout. Beautiful. Yeah. So what I want to do with this, rather than, you know, doing all of this generation stuff in here, I would like to have a, we're going to just have a private list of dictionaries, which feels very, very shoddy. But we're going to just have this be preset layouts, and then we can just add a bunch of different layouts into here. And then for this, we can just return back preset layouts, get a random thing from in there. That works fine. So we could probably even add in the default layout just straight off the rip here. Yeah, screw it, let's do that. So yeah, this is fine. This is fine. So I don't want to pass in that. Get rid of that. What we'll probably have is for the layout, let's actually not use a dictionary. I'm just going to use a list of vector2 ints. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm going to use a dictionary. But I'm not going to have the full, like the full qualified shenanigans. I'm just going to have a doorway type here. Whoops, wrong button. Reason being is because I want to be able to have some sequential layering. So under this we could have like a, you know, whoops, jeez, slippery fingers today. We could have like a public dictionary vector2 int grid tile data, which would be like apply room type to layout, and that then takes in our base layout, takes in the room type as what Copilot suggested here, but we could take it like pass in the room layout or the room, yeah, the room type effectively, and then that would in turn return back our new dictionary of all the things. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that at that for now. I am going to go on the room generator and just do a quick constructor, which is going to do preset layouts dot add, and we're going to add room dot default layout, which of course isn't going to work because it's a different type. Yeah, of course. Let's change this to our doorway. Nope. Yeah, no, doorway type. Gonna do the same there because that's what I want the layout to be. I need to go ahead and update this. Doorway type. And then I don't want to be adding tile data. I want to be just saying doorway type, like so. And then we're going to have to just create this doorway or this data on the fly in the controller. Which in fact I don't think we even need to do that because we have the, I think we have the tile prefab in here. Or am I initializing the room with that? It's been a hot minute since I looked at this. Where's the room constructor? There it is. Okay, yeah, cool. Oh, this just has a static that it's loading in. Yeah. All right. I mean, you know what? Let's rewind. Keep that as was. And then over here, because I don't want to have the brain. I don't want to have the tile prefab in here. I would rather just have it return the data, but in saying that, maybe it then just makes sense that I remove the prefab from the tile data. Where is the tile data? What file is that in? It's in the grid controller, grid tile data. That makes sense. So yeah, maybe it makes sense for me to remove the grid tile prefab from here. We can just have some kind of like unique identifier or something, and have it pull the stuff across. Just want to... Yeah, that's good. Let's just checking my audio levels real quick. Yeah. Yeah. So the room generator at its end needs to return back a... yeah. Let's start this again. I think my layouts can be like this. No, they need to be some kind of grid tile data. It has to be. I suppose the prefab can just be null by default, or maybe I do... Yeah, screw it. Okay. I'm making decisions on the fly. We're going to take our default grid tile prefab and move it out of here. Dump it into here, like so. We'll also go ahead and remove this default layout from here, because we're not going to use it in here anymore. We are now just going to pass in a layout, which of course we will be getting from the room generator. So I'll stick this in here as well. We can... I wonder, it probably won't let me do this because it's not been... Yeah, no, we'll have to add the default layout here. That's fine. And then we can stick a bunch of other layouts that we want to design in here as well. So we'd have something like a new dictionary. Look at that. Straight line. Except it's not a straight line. What's that going to look like? It's going to be like an L. We've got, Alan is working on a tool at the moment for us to be able to visualize designing these layouts. So that's going to be very handy once that's in. But, okay, so the idea then here is that we're going to have a method public void generate, not public void, sorry, public dictionary vector2 int grid tile data generate room, and at the end of that we will return this dictionary. So let's create a dictionary. I'm not going to call it selected layout because again we're probably going to have some layers on this. It's going to be generated room. Oh my gosh. And then we'll return that at the end. So in the middle of here, for now, just return. Oh my gosh, I cannot type today. Just return a random preset layout. Easy. Cool. But eventually what we'll be doing, like I say, is we'll have a bunch of methods for applying different layers. And again, I have to think about how I'm going to do this because the rooms hold their iterations. Ooh, I wonder we could separate out the layout, so have the layout be private, and then have a contents, or like a, you know, a concrete instance. So the layout just holds the like the positions of things and the basic layout, and then we can have the actual, you know, the concrete instance of the room be that, either that, or we use the room controller to apply the actual layers of how that instantiation looks. I think that's probably more likely what I'm going to do. That's more likely what I'll do. Yeah. That's what I'll do. So, walk through the way this is going to work, and I'm going to say this because it's for my own head. We're going to have the room generator will take in a layout template. It can then decide based on, you know, some parameters what things, but it's similar to the way that the level generator in Spelunky works. We'll have a template for a layout. It can decide, you know, if there's a tile that could or could not be there. It will decide at that point if concretely that tile is going to be there. So we'll have like a method called resolve variables or something like that. All to say, at the end of this generate room method, we return back the dictionary, which is vector2 int grid tile data, and that's jobs are good. That's then what the room will hold in its layout. It can also keep track of the iterations as previously. We don't necessarily need to care about room size, although actually, yeah, we do, because that's going to be used for positioning the camera. So that's great. That's all good. There is going to be a change that I potentially need to make in here, actually, for figuring out what the min position is of a room. For example, if we design a layout, so if we said the max bounds of a level could be 11 by 11, we could theoretically just have an 11 by 11 square. That's fine. But in practice, it might work out that we want 5 by 5, and we design that in the center. So the first tile in the grid is actually at like 3, 3 or 2, 2 rather than 0, 0. As such, this loop needs to take into consideration what the lowest value of x and y are, and then offset the max bounds by that amount. So I'll figure something out for that in a little bit. Going back to the structure again, room generator generates the layout. The room gets initialized with that layout, which we need to have layout equals layout. We need to make sure we get that in there. I'm going to do that as the first thing instead of down at the bottom here. And then the room controller, every time we load the room, it will be responsible for taking into consideration also the current room type and the applied room, or the applied biome. The biome for the current loop and the layout, or not the layout, the type for the iteration. There we go, got there eventually. So we can have those as additional parameters in the load. Add parameters for the room type and current biome. And then during this process, when we're going through and parsing our tile data, we will we'll go ahead and like update what tile needs to be created, which then probably means we don't actually want to be passing in tile data here. We want to be passing in just a concrete tile instance. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make that update now. So we're going to pass a grid tile, and this is going to be our F2 tile prefab, like so. We can just get rid of the tile prefab. And yeah, that's the thing. We need to initialize it with, except we don't need to do that. We can initialize it in the room controller. So if it was successfully created, we can do create tile.initialize, and it's going to be tile data dot doorway type, and what else does this need? It's grid position, which is going to be position. Beautiful. Cool. So, theoretically now, if I pop over to the game controller, yeah, here we go. This is going to be room generator dot generate room. And again, I realized that it's not a static thing, so let's create ourselves a room generator. Up here, we're going to have a private room generator, lowercase r, and it doesn't need to be a getter. This can just be a read-only. Lovely stuff. Why is that complaining? Oh, because I need to... New room. Passing in that. There we go. Space. Cool. So, actually, probably what we want to do is rather than just returning the layout, we actually want to return a new room. Yeah, screw it. Let's do that now. We're going to take this back. This is going to return a room, generate room. That makes a lot of sense. Generated room is now going to be a room, which we will pass in the presets at random position shenanigans. Cool. And that way we can just generate room. Beautiful. So if we head back to play, we should see things as they were before. Unless I've made some fatal mistake. Can't do a resources.load in here. I swear I had one in room before. Or did I have it in room controller? No, I had it in room. Huh? Call on game controller. Is it because I'm making an instance of it here? When I'm creating the instance, that's almost definitely what it is, yeah. Game controller. I'm not going to make it new there. We are going to make it new in awake. Which means it can't be read-only. Yeah, cool. Nice. Hit play. I'm still running on Monday brain today. I was out in London yesterday as well because my band was playing a show, which, yeah, 3.5 hour drive each way from where I live down to London. It was a long day. It was a long day. Cool. So everything is working as we want it to be. You can see we're still getting. Hey, look at that! It's even got our random layout in there. This is great. This is great. Cool. So, I'm just thinking how I want to do this. I think for ease, what I might do is just pop in like, do I have Aseprite? No, I don't. It's gonna be just a pop open like Photoshop, and I can at least map some stuff out. Because then it should be feasibly straightforward for me to port those then over to the tool, the editor tool that we're creating. So Oh, I hate Photoshop so much. Let's make ourselves some rules. I can't zoom in any more than that. I also can't, like, move myself around the place. Amazing. Okay, so we're going to use black for everything as a base so that I can see. I don't know why I didn't just boom, boom, boom. There we go. We'll say that a nice neon green is going to be our entrance color. No, not brush. What's pencil? Pencil tool is also B. Okay, green is going to be our entrance. Red is going to be our exit. We'll use white for a tile and yellow. Oh, maybe not that kind of yellow. Like a yellow like that for in-scene hazards. So just so I am keeping my life easy, I'm actually also going to go ahead and just remove oh, why? Can I just have like a pencil eraser of some kind? Something that's going to just like remove the things. Pencil. There we go. Bang. I'm going to get rid of the outer line. So we're only working in, what's that going to be, a 9x9? 9x9 grid for designing our room layouts. And we can just go ahead and start plonking in some tiles. So, screw it. Let's do something fun. It's going to be really interesting to think about what makes like an interesting room layout in this game. I'm thinking this is going to be our entrance down here. And we'll have a couple of like branching paths, something like this. Just for funsies. So there's our entrance. We'll have our exit up here. And am I going to bother with any hazards? Maybe we stick a hazard in here. And one in there. Sure. Why not? That's going to be good. So there's layout number 1. Do I remember how to duplicate artboards in Photoshop? I do not. I do. Bang. Why has that moved it so far away? Brother. Where is the artboard tool? Is there an artboard tool? There is an artboard tool. Come this way. You do not need to be that far away. Oh, Photoshop, please. Okay, cool. Pencil. Fill this one back in with black again. I think we'll do something a bit more simple on this one. I'm almost thinking something that could be cool. I tell you what, something that I had thought about is dynamic tiles as well. So if we add purple as the dynamic tile, because I think what could be really cool is if we had, you know, tiles that when you step on them, they like swap places with another position type thing. So that could be cool. Or tiles that when you step on them, they crumble. Although maybe that's an environmental hazard. It'll be a question of how we, you know, how we classify those. But for now, I think we'll go with the transposing tile setup. So what am I doing? I think I would like to have two platforms kind of like so, and then we'll have a alternating sides kind of situation going on with the entrance in the bottom there and the exit in the top there. Simple spin on the original bang. Bruh, why? Weird that it makes them so far apart. Like, it's kind of nuts. I will also end up going through all of these after I'm done and like writing down what's what, so that I'm not completely losing the plot. I think it could also be cool to have some hazards like this on that one, just to make it a bit more interesting. I realize I've messed up that artboard. Let's duplicate. So we want 5 layouts in total, because that gives us enough to make 5 screenshots. In fact, we don't even need that many, because for some of the screenshots we'll end up doing like UI highlights for things like the spell menu, selecting different spells, and stuff like that. So trying to think how much UI can we get away with. We've got one UI screenshot here of the loop menu, but actually I think we can also make use of that in the new 3D, which is that, you know, kind of side on with the line thing that we've got going on. So we'll make use of that, and we'll also have a UI for, like I say, the spell selection. So actually we only need 3 layouts to mess around with, and I think it could be cool to just have one that's kind of like a bit longer and thinner. So let's go ahead and do that. Simply put, what am I doing? E, nope, I, click, B, erase. We will have an entrance. I almost feel like it could be kind of cool to have like a 2x2 zigzag type thing, you know, just snake it up and then come across like so, snake it down. Could that be cool? Maybe it could be cool. For now, I don't know. Let's go with some crazy shenanigans. There's definitely going to be a question of like how much space do we need to maintain for ensuring that gaps don't get like really painful to cross. Like here, I figure design-wise, it's probably going to be beneficial to have something in the bottom there. But you know what? Nah, we're gonna just leave it straight up. Yeah, and we'll roll with these as our 3 placeholder layouts that we're going to go with. Also, hello to everyone who's just tuning in to watch. We're currently designing levels to redesign screenshots for the Steam page, working on a game called Minim. There's a link in the description to wishlist if it's something that's up your street. It is a puzzle roguelike about collecting spells and surviving loops of enemies which copy your moves. Cool. So, we now need to go through and manually in our heads parse all of these layouts into a list of positions for what the exit and entrance are going to be. So I'm going to start with our one in the middle here, because this is going to be very much the same as our default layout. We've got a 5x5 grid, or well, it's a 5x6 grid, and we've cut out the middle 2 chunks and replaced them with disappearing tiles, which that's going to be interesting to kind of figure out. Yeah, we'll get to it. Right. You know what? We can do a little something like this. Run them side by side. Click. Oh, yeah, I can't scroll like that on Photoshop. Okay. Let's get cracking, shall we? So, I'm going to start with I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna run this as a furthest value of x, and then we're gonna work across in a sort of like as if we were a for loop. So we're gonna have a new vector 2 int, and this is going to be 0 on x, and then we've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the y. And then yeah, new grid tile data at that position. Doorway type is going to be none, and we're using the default tile prefab. Cool. Now we've got all of our 1 position X's. So at 6, we are going to have the exit. Very nice. At 5, we are going to have a regular tile, so none. Same for 4. Then we're not going to have anything at 3. 2. Same thing. 1, same thing. Whoops. There we go. And at 0, same thing. Cool. I am also going to just stick some spaces in these so that I can have everything mapped out nicely in my head. Right. Copilot's trying to fill in a bunch of stuff for me, and I'm like, nah, please don't. Please don't. New vector 2 int, and now we are at 2. We've got nothing at 6, so we're going straight to 5. This is going to be a hazard tile, but we haven't implemented that yet. So we are just going to have it be a standard tile position. Then we've got the same thing at 4. Same thing at 3. Same thing at 2. Nothing at 1. And then same thing at 0. So let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Oops, not what I meant to do. Also not what I meant to do. There we go. Got there eventually. On to 3. So now at 3 we're starting at 4 because we're here. 1 at 3, 4. And then we've got nothing at 3, 3. So we're going straight on to 3, 2. That's going to be normal. And then 3, 1 is going to be normal. There we go. And then finally 3, 0 is going to be our entrance. Cool, on to 4. This one's nice and easy. We've only got 3 at 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whoopsie daisy. 4, 4. 4, 3. And 4, 2. Oops. Keep doing the wrong shortcut. And then 5 is exactly the same. So actually, let's go ahead and just yoinkus all of this. Way. Come on now. Ah, come on. There we go. 5, 5, and 5. And I'm hoping Copilot, yep, there we go, recognizes and updates. Beautiful. So let's just have a look and see if this spawns in how we're expecting it to. We'll either end up getting that one or we'll get the default layout. But we can remove the default layout from the pool actually to make our lives easier. For now, I'm just going to roll with it. There it is. Cool. So what we need to do as well is update the camera so that it's positioned relative to the bounds of the level, because obviously at the moment it's it's a bit off center, but everything is working as it should. So this is really cool. I kind of want to see when we get back round to the next iteration what what we end up getting with the things moving through. That's mad. It's given us the basic layout 3 times. So we'll have our first iteration coming back in this one. I'm going to go in a straight line. I'm going to do a little cheeky dash. And then we should, in this one, be seeing some more interesting behavior. Because he's now going to try and come down along this main straight. There he is back at the start. Give him a little shove along and then step. Nice. Cool. Okay. That's one down. I am also going to go ahead and actually just remove this and remove... yeah, I don't even need to remove the default layout. I'll keep it in there for now so that we've got it. And let's chuck in a new dictionary. This one had a colon at the bottom, didn't it? No, it didn't. Do I mean a colon? I mean a comma. I want to be in the habit of just leaving commas on the bottom of my dictionary initializations. Keep my life simple. Okay, this one's nice and easy. We'll do a new... immediately forgotten the structure. There we go. Nope. Stop. Tab. Brackets. Space. New. Vector to int. And again, we're going to go from the left to the right. Maybe I'll work myself up this time instead of working down. So we'll have 0. No, we'll start at the top. 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0, 5 is going to have the new grid tile data, and it's going to be none. I'm just going to tell Copilot to calm the F down. And we've got 5 rows. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is going to be the entrance. Copy that. This now needs to be none. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There we go. I also have immediately effed this up. That's going to be the exit. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. And then at 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, we just want the last couple. So we'll get rid of these. 3, 3. Yep. Similar deal here for now it's going to be 1, 1. No, it is going to be 2, 2. We're going to get can't speak. Going to get rid of these ones. 2, 2. And then we're back to normal. At 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And finally, our entrance positions. At 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and the middle one is going to be the entrance. Cool. Let's have a look. Sweet, there it is. So yeah, like I was saying before, these tiles here will eventually set up to replace with some kind of special tile rather than like a moving tile. Maybe it could be cool if in one of the room types we have it be sliding platforms. Or in one of the biomes we have them be sliding platforms or crumbling. Yeah, we can change the stuff out depending on the biome for those special tiles and the contents of the room based on the layout. So that's very cool. One more to go. Let's get straight into it. Go away. That. No. Whoops. No. There we go. Got there eventually. Brother. Brother. I cannot, for the life of me, type the things that I need to type. Okay, let's see here. We have got a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. So new, and we're going to start again at the top and work our way down. So we don't actually have anything at 6 in this position, so we'll start at 5. It's not the entrance, so that's cool. We've then got nothing at 4, nothing at 3, so straight to 2, 2, 2, 1. Whoops. Was it going to do it? Nope. 1. And finally, we have our entrance at 0, 0. Just idiot check that. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 lines of code, and we've lost our music. Tell you what, I've been really vibing with the Monument Valley soundtrack at the moment, so we're gonna roll with that. Might get copy strikes. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. It's a great soundtrack. I really love Todd Baker's composition, and the work that he's done with Lucy Treacher on Monument Valley 3 is just phenomenal. If I am ever in a position where the studio is making like really good money, I would 100% want to work with those two in some capacity, because they're so good. So good. Oh, Copilot's getting carried away again. Let's just get it to slow its roll. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And of course, Copilot is not going to be smart enough. It was smart enough. Great. So that's that second row done. This next line, we've got 6, 5, 3, 2. So I'm actually going to just steal this line from here and update the things. 6, 5, 3, 2, and this is going to be at 2, 2, 2, 2. Yep. Yep. And that's cool. Next is basically exactly the same, except we're missing the final line. So let's just copy this, paste, and this top one here is going to be our exit. We've then got a nice empty line of stuff without the top and without the bottom. So I'm gonna yoink that, remove the top, remove the bottom, and these are going to be at 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I feel like I'm missing a line. We should have 4 so far, right? Like we got this one, then we got the line of all of them. That's because I haven't updated this to 3. That needs to be 3, 3, 3. Then this is going to be 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Whoops. It's clocking on, starting to believe. And then the final row is the same as this one, except we are missing the penultimate. Whoops, didn't mean to put a breakpoint there. And that's going to be 5, 5, 5, 5. This song's my favorite one off of the album. It's just such a vibe. Such a vibe. I love it. I'm getting pinged real quick. Hold the phone. Oh my gosh, I really can't type today. Okay, cool. So that should be all of our room layouts now implemented. There's going to be a question now of what we look at doing. I think I probably want to figure out a way to decide if there's going to be hazards or stuff in places, because then we can start messing with things. Although if I'm being lazy, realistically, what I'm going to want to do. Oh yeah, we need to sort the camera. Let's do that first. So in the grid controller, I think it is, or is it going to be in the room controller? Somewhere I am repositioning the camera, or at least I was. I might not be anymore. Was it in the grid controller? I don't think I'm doing it anymore. Let's have a search. Camera. Nope, none of these are my scripts except for this one, the awaiting input, but I don't care about that. Game controller. We've got the camera pivot in the game controller. Ooh, so I'm probably doing it in one of my states, because the game controller is a state machine. So in the level generation, I imagine, yes, here we go. Active room size.x over 2 plus the cell gap. See, in here I've said it works, but I don't think it works. God, why? Let me actually see here if it is updating positions. So we've got 2 rooms that have a depth of 7 and 1 room that's got a depth of 6. So we should be seeing the camera positioned at like, I don't even know, some place it should end up positioned at. Let's just see if it actually ends up at different positions or if it's staying in the same place. So we're going to generate the level. I should see this update. Yep, that's gone to a position. Ooh. That ain't right. Let's fix that real quick, shall we? Room generator in this bottom one. I clearly have more than 1 entrance. Yep. There we go. There should be... I should be doing some kind of validation step on that to make sure that we don't get more than 1 entrance in a room. Did that look right? I think it did. It's just, yeah, perspective playing tricks on me. But that's cool. That's cool. It should be a fun layout to play with. It definitely did update the position of the thing as well, so let's have a think about how I'm doing maths with figuring out the room size. So max x is, we're using the keys, which is the positions, and we're saying if position.x plus 1 is greater than room size.x. That's not what I want to be doing. I want to be saying if it's greater than max x bounds. Yep. There we go. That should fix it. Cool. That looks central to me. Easy way that we can test this is by creating a UI image, and we'll give it a width of like full screen width in the center, give it a height of like 5, and we'll do the same thing, but make this stretched down the middle like that with a width of 5 again. And let's make them both black so we can see what's going on. And that does indeed look pretty central to me. I'm going to just copy these and paste them under my dev console. Paste as child. There we go. See some other room layouts and make sure that everything's working as it should. It's given me the same one again. So what we're going to do with this now is we'll basically hit play, get some layouts generated in. That looks pretty central to me, I think. What's the width? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yep, I would expect to be bang in the middle. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I would expect to be in the center of a tile. And we should have 3 either side. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Okay. We are good on that front. Progress being made. So yeah, like I say, what we're going to do, we're basically going to hit play on the thing and then do some shenanigans, move about the place, see how far we get. We'll hit pause on the thing, and then we'll just go in and kind of add stuff to the tiles by hand so that we can take screenshots and edit them in like Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever to dress it up for how the final thing should look, test out mockups for the UI and all the rest of it, and then we can use those as screenshots on Steam, which is a relatively standard practice. There's plenty of developers that I know who, especially with the nature of Steam, you need to get as many wish lists as you can. It helps to get things up early, so you know it's much faster to create art mockups than it is to program the whole game and then take screenshots. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. Cool. So a couple things I want to do then. Obviously we still need to make reference to our designs here for finding out where hazard tiles are, and then we can think of some different ideas for what these look like basically. So in my head, as a baseline, I'm picturing these changing tiles as being kind of like floating plates rather than the kind of like, you know, the tall curved pillar tile that we've got. So I'm going to go ahead into Blender and make some models for those. I think we'll also make some models for some spikes, and one of the other hazards that I had in mind was like a blow dart gun. We also had an idea for a yellow enemy, which has some kind of inbuilt AI, either patrols a set path or tries to chase down the player, performs your moves mirrored rather than in reverse. There's a lot of different options that we have for those, but we can still represent those. So we're going to make a model for some spikes. We're going to make a model for the kind of, you know, the floating tile plate thing, which can be relatively simplistic. I might add some dents into it just to make it look a little more varied. And yeah, I think that's probably going to be about it. Then we can more or less fake the rest of it. Sweet. Let's hop into Blender. So I had already started trying to make some little spikes the other day, but I was working on my iPad because I kind of like to have my now that, because I'm so used to working, oh gosh, wrong shortcut, shift, there we go. Because I'm so used to working on a laptop, I I like to work in the living room sometimes rather than in my office, especially up until recently because the office has been an absolute mess. I've gone through and like resorted everything so that the lighting's back set up, the desk is in a new place. I've got some new acoustic treatment panels that I built, which I still need to hang on the walls, but they're like positioned when they need to go. That's those two things in the back there. Drum kit obviously is set up because musician, doing lots of music stuff. But yeah, so the office is more pleasant to be in, but I like working in the living room because it means I can keep doing work while I'm spending time with Adele, or I can like, you know, chill with some TV on the background if I'm working a bit slower, or like just getting some admin done in the morning. So all that to say, I was doing, you know, working on trying to do the models on my iPad in the living room. But since doing the move around, the connection now, Bluetooth-wise for my mouse and keyboard, has gotten really shoddy. So I get like dropped input, my keyboard will just disconnect randomly, and I got really frustrated like immediately. So I just stopped because I didn't want to have to deal with all that faff. But yeah, here we are back at it again. We are going to go with a really low poly what's it for our spike. I am going to go straight ahead and remove the bottom face because we don't need it, and then we are going to G this up by 1, no, GZ1, there we go, and I want to scale it around, oh gosh, it's been a while, this one, I want to scale around the 3D cursor, and we're going to just make it like 2 units tall-ish. Something like that. And maybe we can make it a bit thinner as well, just so it looks more hazardous. That's a reasonable spike model. In the isometric, that's how it looks. I want to go to top view, because I also want to have this, you know, somewhat similar in layout to the ones we've got in here. I imagine what I'll do is we can actually scale this up just a little bit. So maybe go like that. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, that works. Whoops. And then we're gonna just duplicate this around a little bit random, like maybe not like that. Or maybe we could just have one more that fits in there, and then we can like rotate this randomly on a tile perhaps. Or maybe I do go full symmetry because it fits better. Yeah, bun it, let's do that. Full symmetry, so we are going to Shift D, GX. Why? Why? Why is it doing that? Is it because it's rotated? Nope. Weird. I have to double tap X to make it move along X. Okay. Interesting. Let's go not to GXX.5. Nope, GXX.25. A little bit further, GXX.3. Sure, that works. Do the same in that direction. I think I actually want it a little bit closer than that. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. And then we can scale on X by -1. Shift D. Scale on Y, -1. And now we've got some spikes. Yeah, that's cool. Shade smooth. Boom. Spikes. And we can get those coloured up in engine as well. Yeah, they're chilling. We could even almost get some variation on the height going, actually. I'm getting way too way too into like the specifics of this, but that's cool. You should be a little bit shorter. Oops. Yeah, that's feeling aight. that's feeling aight. What else did I say we needed? We need the other tile, don't we? So, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I did just use a normal size cube scaled 0.5 size. We will also go ahead and scale this one on Z by 0.75, scale 0.25. Yeah, that's cool. We'll go ahead and bevel the edges here. I am going to use the bevel tool. So I can try and match this curve pretty closely. That's pretty much bang on. And then we'll do the same thing around the edges. And I want to try and match the profile. So let's just tab out GX1. Select everything. GZ, Z, negative 0.125. Yep. And then let's just grab these. Oh! Okay, I've done something. I've done something. Hold the phone, folks. Hold the phone. Got way too many things going on the bevel here. Why has it made 100 segments? We only need like 5. 100 is way crazy. Okay. Alright, Blender. Alright, alright. Just try and match that curve closely. 5. Now we can do the things. Again, I want like 5. 100 is way too many. Crazy application. Cool. Easy peasy, shade smooth. So these are going to be our magic kind of floating tiles. If anything, we could possibly make these even a little bit smaller. But you know what, I think it's probably okay for now. I think it's probably okay for now. Dynamic tile. And I'll rename this one to static tile. And then of course we can bring back our living entity. Let's move him across as well. So we've got our spikes, we've got our cube, we've got our gate, which is the entrance or exit. And yeah, things are looking cool. I'm actually going to just move this back on Y a fair bit more so that it sits more on its own. I think I did start putting some materials on maybe? No? Clearly not. Alright. But yeah, cool. Got some models. Did I say we needed to model anything else? I feel like I did, but I can't remember what. What we're looking at, we've got entrance, exit, hazards. Ah, yeah, we were going to look at doing like a dart gun, weren't we? Do I want to bother with that now? Or do I want to think about maybe doing something like the buttons? I think probably remaking the buttons would be more productive, but I have to fiddle about with some shader stuff. to do that. So for now, I think we'll stick just with these. We'll stick just with these. Cool. Let's get these exported. I still really don't understand how exporting from like from Blender into Unity the best way to do it. I'm deliberately not saving the blend file because I have other people working on the game who don't have Blender installed. And if you have a .blend file without Blender being installed, Unity can't read the .blend files, which makes sense, but is still kind of annoying. So yeah, going through exporting FBXs, but... Oh, wait a minute. Do I want to do Y up, Z forward? Yeah, that's probably what I want to do. Apply transform, bake space transform into object data, always getting unwanted rotations to objects when target space is not aligned. Okay, I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to export the dynamic tile like this. And we're going to head back into Unity and see what it's saying. Dynamic tile. Yeah, look at that. It's still stood stood on its end. I think I'm converting tiles on, or not converting tiles, sorry. Bake axis conversion apply. Brother. Brother, please. So now I've got this dude rotated all weird like. And not sitting flat at 0, 0 by the looks of things. Which is like, come on now. Why? Why are you not sitting flat? Because that should be there, is the vibe, not where it is. Right? Like that's... its pivot is at the top. So actually, yeah, why... I've just rotated it the wrong way because I'm a dingus. There we go. Interestingly, that has also then... Ha! Wait. He's starting to believe. Export. So I want forward to be Y forward and up to be... No, I want it Y up and Z forward. That's how I want things, right? No, Y... Z up, Y forward. Export. Is that going to have now... Yes. Ah! We're so back. We are so back. That's fantastic. Also, just while we're here, for anyone wondering why I'm like not getting a white background sometimes, I've got this fog plane shader that I made based off of a Cyanolux tutorial. So it's got like a depth check, orthographic depth check, so we get this nice like depth fog fade. I need to update it so that there's like some roll in it, as if there's clouds moving along this thing. But yeah, I also need to make it so that if the depth is like right at the top, then we have 0 opacity on the thing as well. Because at the moment you can see very vaguely. I don't know if the bit depth is gonna crush it out. I think I can see it on my iPad here that I'm monitoring with. You can see there's like a white line right where it intersects. I don't really want that. I would like it to be perfectly smooth. So we'll need to figure some stuff out for that. But yeah, so when I'm going underneath, I'm obviously clipping below it, and that's getting rid of the white background. But there you go. Cool. Okay, so now that I know how to actually export things from Blender properly, let's also export our spikes model, and then we can get some prefabs made. File, export, FBX, selected objects, Y forward, Z up. Yep. Yep. And this is going to be spikes. Oh my gosh, can't type. Spikes.fpx. Some of these dudes have inverted normals, which makes a lot of sense. Let's fix that real quick. I think you do it like this. Yeah, recalculate outside. There we go. Let's re-export that. Sick. Boom. There's our spikes. See them in game as well. That looks sick. Cool. All right. Let's make some prefabs for these things. So I'm going to actually... How do I want to do this? Because I've got a prefab for the tile. I think I'd probably make a prefab variant. And this is going to be dynamic tile. And then we can go ahead and tweak this guy. First things first. Come on now. All of my positions here should be 0, 0. Okay, they are all 0, 0. It's just creating it not at 0, 0 for whatever reason. Probably because it's where my scene camera is looking. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to delete the tile base. And we're going to replace it with the dynamic tile. Which again, we want to reset. Let's just go ahead on all of these. I wonder actually, let me check this. Tile base is scaled 1, 1, 1. And we've got 100. Yep. 100. Okay, we're gonna go on my spikes and my dynamic tile, set this to 100. Apply. There we go. And we're going to give this the same material, which I believe is just, oh my gosh, too many materials. White. Yep, there we go. We could almost do like some special material, like dynamic tile. I think I will also give these some useful names as well. And maybe make some folders for things. So let's create folder, tiles, dynamic and base, and we'll also have a folder for entities, which we will have blue is player, red is going to be ghost, and we'll have a yellow one as well, which will be, I don't know, what should we call the mirror enemy? I guess it can be copycat. That works. And we'll also have a folder for environment, which can hold our environment fog, our exit and entrance materials. Cool. Sick. All right, let's apply the overrides to... Why is this on tile? If I hit apply... I don't want this to be on tile. I want it to be on dynamic tile. Come on now. There we go. Reset you. Delete the tile base. Replace it with the dynamic tile. Oh my gosh. Reset. There we go. Crazy. And that is going to be our dynamic tile, which let's just... I don't know. We can give it like a slight yellow tint, I guess. Or maybe we go slight purple. Yeah, slight purple tint on the top. Just to show it's a little bit different. Maybe we do a slight purple tint on the bottom as well. On the sides. And for anyone who's curious, this is a triplanar shader of sorts that we've got here. So it checks the face of the face of the shape. What am I trying to say? The normal of the face. Checks the normal of the face relative to world space, I think, and just colors it based on that. I think the way that I did it is if it's the top face, then color it with the top color. If it's not, excuse me, color it with the other ones. And then it kind of just dynamically flips between them. So that's all nice and easy. That's on my dynamic tile. We'll apply that, delete, and I still have my entrance and exit signifiers as well, because obviously we could potentially have a dynamic tile at the entrance or exit, which could pose some really interesting puzzle situations, actually. Okay. Spikes, that was it. Create an empty. Not in there. Set this one to my active scene. Create empty. Spike. Hazard. And you know what? I'm actually going to create a general hazard prefab. And then I'll create a variant. For the spikes hazard. Reset. This is going to be nice and easy. We'll just drag our spikes in under here. Reset once again. Ooh, they're a little bit big, aren't they? You know what? I'll scale them down in here because I'm a little bit lazy. We'll go 0.8. So that they fit all inside the player. Yep, that's good with me. And then we need a material for these. So let's go ahead and make a folder called hazards. And I think this one can probably just be an unlit. Or a simple lit, rather. I don't want to use unlit because we are using lighting for things like screen space ambient occlusion. If you use an unlit shader, then it won't apply screen space ambient occlusion. So I am being blind. Where is material? There we go. Jeez, spikes. Spikes. And you are going to be universal render pipelines, simple lit. And we are going to make them like gray. So they basically look exactly the same as they did before. You know what? I take it back. We're going to use my shader. Triplanar gradient. Oh my gosh. That's kind of crazy looking. We're going to have the same slightly bluish gray for all sides of the shape. and then we're going to have a black gradient, which of course I haven't got included in my shader because I couldn't figure out how to do it. But we will have, it's not going to be black, it's going to be like navy blue, probably like a purpley navy blue is the black color of choice, because you never go full black. It's not the done thing. Cool. Let's 0 that out. 0, 0, 0, 0. We will apply all, and I can delete that from the scene. Not that way. Let's not do that. Spike hazard overrides. Yeah, good. Delete, delete, delete. Cool. So, there was one other step that I wanted to do actually, and that's updating our camera's orthographic lens size based on the size of the map. I'm debating whether or not that's necessary. The main reason I'm thinking to do it is for like UI, because at the moment, with things being so zoomed in, it's kind of difficult to get a proper feel for it. But I'm worried about space for fitting in. Yeah, it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I think this is enough space to have our UI. We need to show the player's health and the player's spell queue, which I was thinking to put down in the bottom. In the original, we're also showing like the loop and room count. I don't know if we need to do this necessarily. I don't think we need to, because you're going to get told it before you go into the room, so you don't need it on screen all the time. We can just have the health and the spell queue. That's cool. Yeah, chilling. All right. And of course, yeah, it is quite cool to roam around these different layouts and see them appear and disappear. The other cool thing that it would be nice to do is have the rooms appear and disappear from the entrance to the exit, rather than just from the bottom left to the top right like they do at the moment. But I'm getting distracted. We will also have to wrap the stream up soon-ish. So I tell you what, we'll finalize this by coming up with a strategy for passing in different types of tiles, or different types of prefabs within the not within the generator, but within the room controller when we create it. Obviously that means that we need on the generator to specify the what the type of tile is, so we will go ahead and create ourselves some shenanigans for that. So first things first, let's go ahead and create a enum, which I will create under the grid tile. Public enum tile type, and this is going to be, could actually have it be wall as well. For now it's going to be, oh no, we can't really. No, ignore me. I'm gonna have static, which is the default, and dynamic, which will be for our obviously moving platforms, as it were. So let's go back ahead on our grid tile data. We'll have a public read only grid type. Not grid type, what am I talking about? Tile type, which is, I think that can be tile type. Yeah, tile type. Easy. We'll pass that in as well, initialize it here. And by default, tiles will be static, but they can, of course, be dynamic. So let's, in our room generator, I think we probably also want to load in a default Oh, actually, you know what? With this, we can get rid of, we can do away with any concept of having prefabs in the tile data, because we can get the correct prefab from the room type and the biome configuration based on whether it's static or dynamic. Yeah, that's good. That's good with me. That is good with me. So we are going to go off on this small tangent. We're going to remove the tile prefab from here and see all of our code break. This now needs to be a type. So we'll go back through all of our rooms. I think the only one with dynamic ones is the middle. So I'm just going to go option click down all of these. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Click, 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 click. I wonder if I... No, I can't. I can alt. Oh dear. We'll let Copilot make our lives a little bit faster. Cool. And we're going to do a similar thing on the top one. Go on, you can do it. Static. Static. Cool. And then it's just this middle row. So we, for the most part, want them all to be static. With the exception of these two, which are going to be dynamic. Similar deal, tile type dynamic. And then these ones can be back to static again. Go on. There we go. Cool. Why am I seeing errors? Where are the errors in this class? I don't see any red squiggly lines. See if it complains about something over here. Room generator, default tile prefab does not exist. Ah, yes, static. There we go. Although we could probably do away with this default layout. Maybe I'll still include it at some point. I don't know. We'll find out. So now, rather than just straight up creating the tile prefab, we're going to decide what our grid tile prefab. For now, we're just going to use tile data dot tile type. Yeah, we'll switch on the tile type and we can load it. This is very inefficient. I'm gonna just go. I can't. I'm going to have a couple of serialized field, private grid tile, default tile prefab, and we'll also have a default dynamic. And then we will not bother with resource.load. You're going to be my default static, default dynamic, default static, and then we can create that prefab. Cool. So let's get that set up on the room controller. And like I say, eventually the way that this will work is that we'll have these prefabs stored on the respective biome and room type scriptable objects that we'll be able to pass in for switching these out. Very cool. Default dynamic and default static, which is just tile. Hit save, and I'm going to just press play. And hopefully we end up getting the room with dynamic stuff appearing in this run. Yeah, look at that. There we go. So we can still step on these. They obviously don't do anything special at the moment, but yeah. I think... Oh, I can't dash the distance. I think what we should do... I'm gonna real quick, I'm gonna update the dash spell to be able to dash over gaps, because that's kind of part of it. Spell casting, spell implementations, directional, dash spell. So at the moment, I think the way this thing is working is that it's just checking to see if it can go, and if it can't, then it stops. I think what I would like to do is say, if there isn't a tile, then we continue, rather than if there is a tile, then do things. So let's say, if not this, continue, because that way we can actually just check. We can check and see, or what, we can ignore empty spaces is what I mean. And then, you know, if we never hit anything, our target position is always going to be just the current position, and we won't be able to dash anywhere. That's fine. But now I should be able to dash across gaps, and then I think with that we'll call it for this stream. A little bit short than usual, but you know, easing back into things, and my voice is quite tired after having been singing all day yesterday and then shouting at people while other bands are playing, so that I can actually be heard. You know what, I don't know why I'm waiting for the other level. I can test this here. Ah, it still didn't dash me over. I wonder why that is. It's probably because we're not updating the position that we're referencing, because we'll be using this end tile position as... Yeah. Where do we use target position? We just use it here. Okay, so we can update our... Yeah, let's have a separate vector to int check position equals that. Then we can do check position plus this, and if we don't find anything, we can just say check position equals target position. And that should do it. Next time we come around, it'll be doing the original target position or previous target position plus the dash direction and checking for a tile. We're still using the end tile position as where we're lerping to, or where we're sliding to, and then we also are setting the occupied tile of the cursor to be that end tile. So this should now do it. He says with confidence. Deary me, I've got the sleepies. Hey, let's check this here. Nice, we dash across that gap. We didn't dash into the ether. Still didn't dash into the ether. Dashed across that gap. Awesome, this is cool. Very nice. All right, okay, guys. With that, I think we'll probably, like I say, we can end the stream there. I'm just gonna switch over to my face cam so I can address you all properly. Yeah, nice to be back. I'm looking forward to it. Due to changes in circumstances, I have a lot more time on my hands now. So I'm gonna be aiming to stream a lot more. For all intents and purposes, simply put, I'm basically doing Game Studio full time now. So Minim is more or less my full-time job. You know, there's other stuff that's going on in the studio, other projects that we've got, external projects, and I've got various other life stuff. I'm not at my regular job because I'm somewhat focusing on, you know, my health and well-being, off the back of, you know, some long-running chronic health issues, which I've spoken about on the channel before. But yeah, so I'm on long-term leave from work, which gives me more freedom to focus on the health and well-being, and also to be able to do some more stuff like this. So expect more streams in the near future. I probably won't be doing devlogs because they just take too much time to put together. And yeah, when I'm doing live streams and things where it's documenting the process in real time, I feel like that's much more interesting to see. And they go up onto YouTube to rewatch for anybody who misses them when they happen anyway. So yep, we'll be doing that. I might be back tomorrow. Maybe I won't. We'll see. If you want to find out, make sure to hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notified, but also join the Discord server, which is linked in the description, because I post out notifications when I'm going live or when I upload new videos in there. And there'll also be information in the Discord server about the beta testing, which we'll be looking to do in the next few weeks for Minim. So if you're interested in playing the game early before release, which will be, you know, next year, sort of mid Q2 time, then definitely hop on into the Discord server down below, and yeah, you'll be able to find out more information there. I'm just gonna, yeah, my music is gone. I forgot to add music to the camera scene. That's brilliant. Cool. Okay, so yeah, with that, I will round off the stream. It's been a pleasure to be back. Very nice to see everyone again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.